Welcome back, everyone, to the deep dive. This time, we're going deep on something I know a lot of you struggle with, and that's small talk.
Ah, yes, small talk.
Specifically, you sent us this guide all about how to master small talk. And it really resonated because it's not just about surviving those sometimes awkward moments. It's about using small talk to actually create opportunities.
Absolutely. I think a lot of times people think of small talk as something they have to get through.
Yeah.
But this guide really flips that on its head and shows how small talk can be this amazing tool to connect with people.
Yeah, it starts with the definition. The Oxford definition of small talk, polite conversation about ordinary or unimportant subjects.
Right. Unimportant.
Come on, unimportant.
I mean, that's where the guide starts to get interesting because it's like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
These unimportant conversations, they're actually how we build rapport.
Exactly.
They're a way to show respect and signal that you're someone people can feel comfortable around.
Right.
And there's actually research from the University of Chicago showing that these small, brief conversations with strangers can actually reduce stress.
Woo!
Yeah, they measured cortisol levels, the stress hormone, and they went down significantly after people just had these little chats.
That's fascinating.
Yeah, it's like a secret weapon against stress.
That's fascinating.
Yeah, it's like a secret weapon against stress.
Who knew?
Right.
Just chatting. And speaking of connections, the guide digs into all these situations where small talk can really make a difference.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Parties, the office, job interviews, even flirting.
It's true. It comes up everywhere, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And it makes sense, right? These are all situations where first impressions are everything.
Yeah.
So whether you're networking, trying to land a job, or just navigating everyday life, small talk can really be your secret weapon.
It's like your social superpower. Now, this guide doesn't just throw you in the deep end. It actually gives you over 100 questions you can use in different situations.
Yeah, over 100 questions.
Yeah, which is amazing.
But it's not about memorizing these like a robot, right?
Oh, gosh, no.
It's really about the strategy behind them. And the guide emphasizes these open-ended questions that really spark interest and encourage the other person to share.
Yes, it's about starting a conversation, not just asking a question. Okay, so since we know you're really focused on your career right now, let's look at a section that might be super helpful for you, and that's acing that job interview.
Oh, job interviews. Yeah, this is where small talk can really set you apart.
Okay.
Because it lets you showcase your personality, you can demonstrate, you can think on your feet, show that you're genuinely interested in the people you're meeting.
Awesome. So let's look at some of these questions.
Yeah, let's do it.
So one that stood out to me was, did you find the location all right? We know our office can be a bit tricky to spot. So simple, but why is that effective?
I think it's brilliant. I mean, it shows consideration, right? You instantly put the person at ease.
Yeah.
And it's a subtle way to show that you're aware of potential challenges.
Oh, yeah.
It makes you seem more approachable and human.
I like that. Okay, here's another one. Have you had a chance to explore our office space? What do you think of it?
Again, it's inviting the person to share their observations. Yeah. It's not a yes or no.
Yeah.
And, maybe that sparks a conversation about the company culture or work environment.
Ooh, this next one I love. Have you had a chance to try the coffee in our break room? People here are quite particular about it.
Oh, I love that one.
Yeah.
It's like a little bit of humor. It shows that you're in tune with the office dynamics.
Yes.
And subtly highlights a shared interest. I mean, who doesn't love good coffee, right?
Right.
And even if they haven't tried it yet, it opens the door to talk about preferences, office rituals.
Yeah.
I once used a similar question about the weather at a networking event and ended up having this fascinating conversation about climate change with the CEO.
Whoa, really?
Yeah. You just never know where small talk will take you.
That's so true. That coffee one is just brilliant. I never thought of it that way. It's like a secret code for I'm paying attention to the details.
Exactly. And that's what makes this guide so valuable. It's not just about the questions themselves.
Yeah.
It's about the psychology behind them.
Yeah.
And how to use them strategically.
Okay, so we've seen how small talk can be a game changer in job interviews. But this guide goes even deeper. It explores these broader psychological and sociological benefits of these everyday interactions. And that's where it gets really interesting.
It does. It does.
So we'll be back to talk more about those right after this break.
It's like small talk isn't just about saying please and thank you.
Right.
It's about meeting these really fundamental human needs.
Yeah.
We're social creatures. We need to connect.
We are. And I think, even if we don't always realize it, Those little chats can really help us feel less anxious,
Yeah.
especially when we're in new situations.
Absolutely. And there's actually research that backs that up. Remember that University of Chicago study we talked about?
It also found that even those brief interactions with strangers can boost our mood.
Really?
Yeah, our sense of belonging. It's incredible how these small moments can have such a big impact on how we feel.
It is. It's almost like this little hidden mood booster right in plain sight.
I love that.
And, the guide even touches on this idea that when we engage in small talk,
Yeah.
it kind of signals to other people that we're trustworthy and approachable.
It's like this social glue.
Yeah.
That helps smooth the way.
It does. For
these more meaningful interactions.
Exactly.
So instead of dreading those moments, we should really view them as opportunities.
I think so, yeah.
To connect and even boost our own happiness.
I love that. Yeah, it's about shifting our perspective a little bit.
Yeah.
And, instead of seeing it as a chore or something we have to get through,
right,
we can see it as a way to build social capital.
And be happy.
And increase our own happiness.
Exactly. Okay, so we've talked about the why. We've looked at specific questions for job interviews.
Mm-hmm.
But what about those everyday interactions with strangers?
Yeah.
Like at the coffee shop or networking event, or even just waiting in line at the grocery store.
Yeah, those ones. The guide has a whole section on that.
It does.
Yeah. And it gives some really good tips for navigating those.
Yeah.
Potentially awkward encounters.
Oh, for sure.
And one of the things that stood out to me was just this emphasis on finding common ground.
Oh, interesting.
Even in the most unexpected places.
Okay, give me an example.
All right, so imagine you're at a conference and you just happen to be standing next to someone you've never met before.
Okay.
The guide suggests starting with something really relatable, like a comment on the speaker's presentation or maybe the venue itself.
Yeah.
And it might seem simple.
Yeah.
But it's a nice neutral topic that can easily spark a conversation.
I see. It breaks the ice.
Exactly. And once you've got that initial connection, you can kind of move on to other topics.
Oh, okay.
So the key is to listen attentively.
Yeah.
Look for cues that can lead to further conversation.
Ooh, I like that.
So did they mention their company?
Uh-huh.
Ask them about their role,
Yeah.
or what trends they're seeing in their industry.
Yeah.
Did they compliment the coffee?
Right.
Boom. There's your chance to chat about your favorite local cafes.
I see.
It's about being observant and finding these little bridges to deeper topics.
Yeah, I get it. So it's like being present.
Yeah.
And genuinely curious about the other person.
Exactly, yeah.
And I imagine being a good listener is crucial too.
It's essential. It's not just about asking the questions.
Right.
It's about truly listening to the answers.
Yeah.
Responding in a way that shows you're engaged.
Yeah.
People can tell when you're just going through the motions.
Oh, yeah.
Waiting for your turn to speak.
100%. So it's like this dance.
Yeah, it is.
Between asking good questions and being genuinely interested in the answers.
Yeah.
It's about finding that sweet spot where the conversation just flows naturally.
That's a great way to put it.
And both people feel heard and valued.
It's a collaboration.
Yeah.
You're building a connection together.
I like that.
And as you get more comfortable with it, you'll start to notice patterns. You'll develop your own style.
Oh, for sure.
For engaging in small talk.
It's like any skill, right?
Yeah.
The more you practice, the more confident you become.
Absolutely.
And the guide does offer, some really great advice for overcoming those initial hurdles, like the fear of saying the wrong thing or running into those awkward silences.
Oh, yeah. Those can be real conversation killers.
Yeah.
One of the things it emphasizes is just the importance of not taking yourself too seriously.
Oh, yeah.
It's okay to be a little awkward.
Right.
Stumble over your words. Remember, the other person's probably just as nervous as you are.
That's a good point. Especially, if they're also trying to navigate this whole small talk thing.
Yeah.
We put so much pressure on ourselves to be like these perfect conversationalists.
I know, right?
But really, small talk is about being authentic.
Yeah.
Connecting on a human level.
Exactly. You don't have to be witty and charming all the time.
Right.
It's more about showing that you're genuinely interested.
Yeah.
And willing to share a little bit about yourself.
I like that.
And, even if the conversation doesn't go as smoothly as you hoped,
Yeah.
it's not the end of the world.
Right.
Every interaction is a learning opportunity.
So true. We've covered a lot of ground.
We have.
Defining small talk.
Yep.
Understanding its deeper meaning. Exploring these specific strategies.
Yep.
But there's one thing I keep coming back to.
Oh, what's that?
This guide really emphasizes that mastering small talk isn't just about being polite or surviving those awkward moments.
Yeah.
It's about turning these seemingly insignificant interactions into something more.
Yeah, and that's where it gets really interesting.
It does. It's like small talk is this hidden superpower that we all have, but we don't really know how to use.
Right.
And this guide is like the instruction manual.
I love that.
That we never knew we needed.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, now I can unlock this.
Yeah, exactly.
Now I can use this power.
You're not just going to feel comfortable with it,
right?
But you can actually use it to your advantage.
Yeah, it's like, okay, small talk, it's not my enemy.
Right.
It can be my friend.
Exactly.
It can be a tool.
It's about recognizing the potential.
Yes.
In those everyday interactions.
And that brings us back to, your goal of turning small talk into an opportunity, whether it's for building relationships, expanding your network, or even just, brightening someone's day.
Right.
Mastering small talk can really be the key.
It can. And, I think it's important to remember that these seemingly insignificant conversations can have a ripple effect. Yep. You never know. A simple chat with a stranger could lead to a new friendship, a valuable business connection, or even a life-changing opportunity.
Whoa.
You just never know where those initial interactions might lead.
Okay, so big takeaway.
Big takeaway.
Small talk, not something to be feared, not something to avoid.
Right.
It's a skill. You can develop it.
You can.
You can use it to your advantage.
Absolutely.
To create meaningful connections and open doors in your life.
And the best part is, it's accessible to everyone.
Yeah.
You don't need any special qualifications or training.
Right.
All you need is a willingness to engage and a few simple strategies to get started.
And this guide gives you that.
And this guide provides those. Absolutely.
In a very clear, concise, actionable way.
It does.
Well, we've covered a lot of ground today.
We have.
I mean, what small talk is. Psychological benefits, specific questions, but I want to leave you with one final thought.
Okay.
To ponder as you go out into the world. Ready to embrace the art of small talk. What if? What if mastering small talk is the key to unlocking bigger opportunities in your life? What if those casual conversations are the first step towards achieving your goals, building your dream career, even finding your tribe?
That's a really powerful thought.
It is, right?
It is. It really emphasizes that even the smallest interactions can have a profound impact on our lives.
So go out there. Put these techniques into practice.
Yes.
See what happens when you approach small talk with confidence, with intention.
Be intentional about it.
Observe the difference it makes. You might be surprised by what you discover. So, until next time.
Happy chatting.
Happy chatting, everybody.